So I think we're in a new nuclear age, one in which countries are going to reevaluate whether they need an independent nuclear force. I think Poland's going to ask that question. I think Germany's going to ask that question. I think South Korea's going to ask that question, maybe even Japan. Each one of them will come to a different answer on it. But I'm not sure that they will have the assurance that the United States umbrella covers them quite the way it did.
Russia's violent war in Ukraine has set history in motion again. My name is Pisarska, and since 2022, I've seen my worst fears come true. With Putin's army invading Ukraine, never again happens again.
Мною принято решение о проведении специальной военной операции.
The West has danced with the Russian bear for centuries, but it is us in Central Europe who have paid the price for living so close to an unpredictable neighbor. For 12 years, I've been organizing the Warsaw Security Forum, a platform for top-level politicians, the military, and the media to explore how we can live together in peace.
Anybody who tells you it's a European war is wrong. This now is a global war.
Now, I'm taking you behind the closed doors of power as I meet my friends and allies who have helped shape our policy on Russia. And I ask, why has the West misread Vladimir Putin so badly? And is it ready to listen to Russia's neighbors now as we prepare for the worst-case scenario? In my journey around the globe, I also speak to the people who will live and die by these decisions. Welcome to my world.
The world is more dangerous now than it has been for decades.
I will be voting for Donald Trump.
And then I saw the picture of him holding his hand up. Yeah. That will be an iconic image.
We are now back in the Yalta world. We've gone from rules to deals.
Good to see you again.
And in this new world, the price of failure is unthinkable.
You're gambling with World War III.
You live in illusion that you have security. You have no security.
Tonight in Kyiv, music fills the room. A moment of peace before curfew. Alex has played through many nights like this. During the chaos of the first days of the war, he played under the air raid sirens at Lviv railway station as refugees fled. Tonight, I am here with my friend Daria, a fellow activist. From the very first day of the senseless war, we've been side by side trying to support Ukraine however we can. Back then, as refugees fled under the roar of air raid sirens, each note Alex played cut through the panic, a fragile thread of hope in the darkness. That music still carries the weight of those brutal early days.
Ми збираємо для ГУР спецпідрозділу «Артан» на екіпірування. То принагідно запрошую задонатити і зробити спільно.
And now, here, we are in the present, facing life in Kyiv today. People seem defiant yet full of fear. Fear in every family.
And it seems that the air raids are more and more intense and there's more of them. I mean, what's happening? Is it exhausting you? And
it is exhausting. We got accustomed to that. We have a big corridor and big mattress. This is where the kids usually sleep. Recently, I was putting Stefan, my little son, to sleep into this mattress and corridor, and he was saying, why again this air raid? Why Russia is constantly terrorizing us? And I said, well, Russia just wants us to disappear, not to exist anymore. And he asked me, why did we give the nuke bomb to Russia? 8 years old guy, boy. It was a good question.
He heard that somewhere.
Apparently, it's now being discussed not in
official circles, but among kids.
But among kids in the primary school, right? So Ukraine was forced to give away the nuclear weapons. And basically, at that time, Ukrainian president didn't have a choice. It was American president who came from Moscow, stopped by in Budapest, and said, Mr. President, either you sign this, giving up all nuclear weapons in exchange for these assurances, or we will not help you, we will not recognize you, and Russia, by the way, will not give you any energy.
Ukraine chose to give up nuclear weapons when the former Soviet Union dissolved. Your decision has made the Ukrainian people, the American people, and the entire world much safer and more secure.
It was only Moscow which was subject. It's just Moscow which has interests and subjectivity and authority and predictability. And it's just Moscow interest which has to be taken by American apparatus. This is what led, among other things, to this existential genocidal war. Ukrainian national security interests were not even considered.
The United States focused mostly on getting the nuclear weapons that were in the former Soviet states out of those states under control, and worked with Russia, often paid Russia to take that fuel back, thus reducing what had been the biggest element of the Cold War, right? The fear of nuclear annihilation.
Ukraine once held the world's third largest nuclear arsenal. In the Budapest Memorandum, it traded that hard power for security guarantees. It was a gamble on safety and a promise that was broken.
Ukraine gave up its weapons on the advice and with the guarantee of the Britain, the United States, Russia, and other countries. What advice would I now be giving if I was the Polish National Security Advisor to my government? This is a real Pandora's box.
Look, a lot of countries are going to wonder whether or not they need nuclear weapons. They've seen Vladimir Putin say that he would be willing under some conditions to use his nuclear weapons. He has waved the nuclear card around a lot, and in October of 2022, the Biden administration thought it was 50-50 he would use a nuclear weapon in Ukraine.
No nuke has been deployed yet, but while Russia rains conventional missiles down on Ukraine, its state television threatens Europe with nuclear annihilation. The language of the unthinkable is back.
Берем, например, Польшу, как наиболее такую, ближайшую к нам, и наиболее реальный кандидат на оказаться небольшим таким, неограниченным театриком ядерной войны. Там найдется 20 крупных городов? Вряд ли. Даже если посчитать, что на каждый город нужно выделить по 2 боеголовки, это всего 30-40 боеголовок. Что такое 30 боеголовок? Это всего залп одного дивизиона «Искандеров». 16 пусковых, на каждой по 2. Подлетное время 5-6 минут. Подготовка полетных заданий. Одни там готовятся на месте. 3 минуты, 5 минут развертывания. 10-15 минут, и Польша как государство, а поляки как народ исчезают с лица земли вместе со своим языком. Вот это вот европейцы должны очень-очень хорошо понимать. Потому что, поэтому я вот призываю сейчас еще раз европейским народам крепко задуматься о том, что они вытворяют.
Putin freely dispensed nuclear threats in a way the Soviet Union never did, by the way, and implied a readiness to use nuclear force that genuinely served to intimidate non-nuclear countries. And I think it was quite successful.
Atomic bombs are now used for coercion. It's bad, but the using it against humans are very bad. It's the worst case of human against humanity.
Внимание, расчет. Пуск. Есть пуск.
It's 1940s technology, actually. It's not, in the end, hard. It's been about the weight of the convention and the weight of the taboo. And of course, it's the taboo that Putin has broken. But the convention has been underpinned by US security guarantees.
In its war against Ukraine and the West, Russia fights not only with tanks and missiles, but with fear. Since 2022, the Kremlin has repeatedly resorted to nuclear saber rattling to intimidate Europe and the wider world, threats aimed not at the battlefield, but at the mind. By invoking nuclear war, Moscow seeks to paralyze decision-makers, fracture alliances, and weaken public resolve, turning fear itself into a weapon in a psychological war. The line between conventional war and nuclear terror is thinner than we think. To understand what nuclear weapons truly mean, not as a threat, but as a reality, I travel with my daughter Lena to a place where one bomb changed the course of history.
Czy to jest to miejsce, gdzie są te wszystkie cienie tych ludzi, co tego nie przeżyli?
Chyba tak. 100 000 osób zostało zabitych wskutek tego uderzenia na Hiroshimę. 100 000 osób. Masz jakieś oczekiwania w ogóle do tego wyjazdu?
Wiesz co, szczerze mówiąc myślę, że trochę zobaczyć, jak wygląda ten świat po takim zdarzeniu, bo jednak tam teraz ludzie mieszkają, jednak mają swoje własne życia. Pomimo takiej destrukcji, to wszystko jest w stanie się odbudować.
In the final chapters of World War II, the United States faced Imperial Japan, an ally of Nazi Germany, in a brutal war of attrition. Japan's expansionist war has devastated much of Asia and the Pacific. Despite relentless air raids that burned Japanese cities to the ground and killed hundreds of thousands, the emperor refused to surrender. Determined to end the war and defeat the last major Axis power, the United States turned to a weapon first developed to stop Nazi Germany, the atomic bomb. Then, one morning, the Enola Gate took flight. On board was the bomb called the Little Boy.
Zobacz, jak niesamowicie dużo wycieczek szkolnych tutaj jest, widzisz? Właśnie słyszałam, że październik to jest taki miesiąc, kiedy z całej Japonii zjeżdżają tu uczniowie, no żeby oczywiście zobaczyć i upamiętnić to miejsce.
In a city once destroyed by a single strike, life looks normal today. But it is here, far from the war in Europe, that Japan has taken hundreds of refugees escaping Russian aggression after Putin gave an order to launch his special military operation. I remember these early days of 2022 when myself and Lena spent hours on the Polish border helping out refugees like Olena and her son Alexei.
Olena, wy jesteście z Żytomierza i rozumiem, że zostawiliście Ukrainę w 2022, kiedy zaczęła się inwazja rosyjska. Powiedz nam więcej.
На час війни ми проживали в Житомирі, жили в Житомирі постійно, в Україні перебували. Коли почалася війна, спершу не було в планах нікуди їхати. Ми думали про те, що хай може неділі, дві, може місяць, вони заспокояться. Потім ми ще довго про це будемо говорити і знову ж таки будемо жити. Але нічого не закінчувалося. Ми прокинулись о 4 ранку від вибухів і потім переховувалися в сусідньому селі. Ось там ми маємо родичів, ми в них переховувалися в підвалах, в погребах. Просиділи десь місяць, скажімо так, по цих підвалах. І все. Не було в мене бажання виїжджати, я чомусь все-таки вірила, що це ненадовго.
3 lata teraz będzie, prawda, jak tu jesteście?
Уже майже 3,5 роки. В 12-му місяці
No
буде
tak.
3,5.
3,5.
Уже
I
да.
co myślicie o Japonii?
Боже, це, звісно, це країна, яка я завжди буду в своєму серці, якби залишить свій слід у мене назавжди. Японія багато чому навчила мене. Багато чому навчила, я би навіть сказала, і вилікувала. Тому що, звісно, ми приїхали морально, психічно, абсолютно нездоровими людьми. Нездоровими.
A rozmawialiście, bo w szkole pewnie rozmawiasz o bombie atomowej, o nuklearnej. Co mówią w szkole?
Я учив, я пам'ятаю, в 3 класі я взагалі навіть не знав, що тут була бомба якась. Коли я в 4 класі нам сказали, що ми їдемо на екскурсію, і бачу, таку ядерна бомба стоїть. Бачу, от така ось штука і показує, якого. Я такий починаю розуміти, що тут було. Потім до мене мої друзі приходять. Мій друг мені отак мене бере, ось диви, що було. Я такий, вау, страшно.
Co myślicie o takich groźbach zrzucania bomby atomowej przez Rosję, przez Władimira Putina?
Страх я відчуваю, коли чую ці погрози. Хоча дуже часто чується про те, що він на це не відважиться, він того не зробить. А якщо він це зробить, то якісь наслідки. Він вже дуже багато всього зробив. Наслідків жодних я не бачу для Росії. Ми мусимо бути єдні з Європою. Ми мусимо сплотитися, ми мусимо вистояти перед ним. Ми мусимо не показувати йому свій страх, хоча в моєму випадку це неможливо. Я дуже боюсь того всього.
The stories in this place are carried by the people who survived the nuclear flash, a group called the Hibakusha. Their voices are fading, but their memories remain louder than any threat on state television.
I want to thank Japan. I want to thank the Hibakusha, whom we are honoring these days. People from all over the world come to visit the museum, come to visit this exhibition, so they really understand what it was to have suffered the atomic bomb here in Hiroshima, and that this never happens again. I think it's very important for citizens and policymakers to have this personal experience of what an atomic bomb means, because we really need to raise awareness among civil society and politicians about the catastrophic risks and consequences of nuclear weapons, and that this should never happen again. Arigatou gozaimasu.
It's a blessing that children now walk outside without fear of air raids. During the war, children had nothing to eat. The atomic bomb was hideous. People's arms were torn apart and their heads split open. Nuclear weapons must never be used for any reason. No, niestety na Ukrainie dzieci codziennie śpią z tym strachem, że drony nadlecą nad ich dom.
Myślę, że to jest bardziej kwestia, żeby nawet w ogóle wojny nie było, nie tylko w Japonii.
No, tylko nawet jeżeli jedna strona chce pokoju, to nie znaczy, że druga chce. I tutaj zaczyna się nasza dyskusja o odstraszaniu. Czy jednak trzeba mieć i wojsko. I niektórzy dzisiaj uważają, że trzeba mieć broń nuklearną, żeby efektywnie odstraszać. Ukrainie dzisiaj mówią, gdybyśmy nie oddali w 1994 naszego składu broni atomowej, to Rosja nie odważyłaby się na nas napaść i w 2014 czy 2022.
Z kwestią albo wszyscy mają, albo nikt nie ma.
No właśnie, I taka cała była idea, żeby całkowicie pozbyć się broni nuklearnej. Potem jest ten Pugwash, bo to jest ta konferencja. Ona mówi, że trzeba się całkowicie pozbyć.
Peace means listening to people's voices. The opposite of peace is not war, but indifference to war.
To prawda.
In 2024, Hibakusha people got the Nobel Peace Prize for their decades-long effort to achieve a world free of nuclear weapons.
What do you remember from August 6th?
From August
1945.
I was just 8 years old. And my classmate that morning came and let's go to school, our elementary school. And Well, I was thinking go to school. There was no summer vacation. That time, my father stopped me, Keiko. Today, something might happen. My father had that kind of precaution, or, you shouldn't. Why not? I want to go, I said.
And your father told you not to go to school that day?
No, because last night was unusual. He thought that's a kind of warning or something. In the morning, 8 to 15. Everybody went to school. I was alone and on the street. And then there was a flash. People were born and died. And the people's clothes caught fire. Instantly, by flash, started to burn. And then when I opened my eyes, everywhere was just dark. And then I couldn't understand what happened. Nobody, but all neighbors, houses are broken, roof tiles are scattered, and so dark. I thought I slept until evening. First sound was my younger brother, little brother. He was crying, so I could understand. So my house was this way. I heard only cry, but everywhere was just dark still. My brother was bleeding from head. That means a roof tile hit, something hit, and he was bleeding.
How old was your brother at that time?
I was 8, he was almost 5.
A short time ago, an American airplane dropped one bomb on Hiroshima and destroyed its usefulness to the enemy. We have spent more than $2 billion on the greatest scientific gamble in history, and we have won.
But I'm wondering, especially Lena's generation, are you guys afraid of nuclear war? Is that...
Definitely. It's a threat that is real. Let's begin with that. It seems so far away. When you learn in school about the Second World War, it seems so far away. Like, was it even real? That's the question that we ask ourselves. But right now, you see on the news how all the conflicts are we're just afraid that it's gonna, connect and become something really dangerous.
One bomb exploding 1,500 feet above the target, leaving no crater. 500,000 people lived in Hiroshima, a town the size of Sheffield. Here and there, an isolated structure reminds the onlooker that here was once a city.
The scars of war fade with time. Kids, 5 or 8 years old, happily play games in a city that rose from the ashes. But now I'm taking Lena to the museum that preserves what the survivors cannot forget, the objects left behind when people vanished into the light.
This is a glass which came out from my cheek after 30 years.
You can see still a very small scar, but very small, I wouldn't say.
On August 6th, at 8:15 in the morning, I experienced a bomb, and I was buried under ceilings or walls. My father found me under many bricks, and my father thought my daughter might have died already. We are about 1.2 kilometers from hypocenter. It's very close.
How do you feel looking at this piece of glass which has been part of you for such a long time?
It belonged to me once, but now it's in museum. Glass quality is bad. I don't want to see anymore.
Well, then I think we can leave it.
It's just a kind of memory of August 6th, what happened in Hiroshima. This is it. This is the shadow.
So there was somebody sitting here in the
That's
moment
right.
of the explosion.
Yes.
And he just disappeared into the ground, leaving this shadow.
Right.
And 80 years later, the shadow still remains here.
This guy just disappeared from the world.
In a second.
In a second.
In this place, time collapses. These objects feel ordinary. A tricycle? A school uniform? The stories they carry are almost unbearable. Like the story of a girl who wore those sandals and folded more than 1,000 paper cranes to save her from a post-bomb deadly disease.
This girl is named Sadako Sasaki. She passed away at 12 years old because of leukemia. That is influenced by A bomb. She's the same age, and I thought someday, sometime, I might die because of leukemia or something. I was so afraid of becoming a second Sadako in my future. Instead of leukemia, I was suffered from breast cancer.
Do you blame anyone for what happened here in Hiroshima?
Personally, I don't blame anybody, but I would like to ask the President Trump to come to Hiroshima during his duty as a president.
Do you think he will come?
I don't think so.
W jakimś stopniu to miasto przypomina Warszawę. Wszystko jest już całkowicie nowe, tylko od czasu do czasu jakieś
pomniki upominające.
Co tu się działo 80 lat temu. Gdzież to jest w środku miasta? Takie oznakowanie tego miejsca, w którym 600 metrów nad nami eksplodowała bomba atomowa nad Hiroshimą. I 3000 stopni. Dlatego ludzie, którzy tutaj byli bezpośrednio w sąsiedztwie, po prostu zniknęli. No i potem
tygodnie, miesiące później ta radiacja, i napromieniowanie, które niszczyło zdrowie i życie ludzi.
Wspominała właśnie jedna z tych pań, że jej matka zawsze się obawiała, że nie znajdzie męża przez to, że była właśnie ofiarą tego zdarzenia.
A ta druga mówiła, że nie była w stanie zajść w ciążę i nigdy dzieci nie miała, prawdopodobnie również z tego powodu, z tego napromieniowania. Też była małą dziewczynką, 3-letnią. Niezwykłe. Wyobraź sobie taką bombę użyć. Znaczy, w ogóle sobie wyobrażasz, że propaganda rosyjska na co dzień grozi nie tylko Ukrainie, ale jak słuchasz rosyjską telewizję, to słyszysz też, że o Polsce mówią, o Litwie, o Łotwie, o Estonii. Nawet ostatnio mówili, że zrzucą na nas bombę atomową. Ostatnio mówili też, że w Paryżu i w Londynie też powinni się bać, bo mają takie możliwości. No, jest już zakrawa na absurd, gdyby to nie było tak straszne, a konsekwencje tego niewyobrażalne.
Scientists and policymakers gathering in Hiroshima today say the nuclear threat has returned, darker and less predictable than during the Cold War. And once again, the world is looking to Hiroshima for a warning.
It would be good to have a Japanese and Hiroshima perspective.
It is an honor to join and welcome you to the 63rd Pugwash Conference on Science and World Affairs.
This is the Pugwash Conference, founded by Joseph Rotblat, a Polish Jewish physicist who walked away from the Manhattan Project. Inspired by a manifesto from Albert Einstein and philosopher Bertrand Russell, it unites the minds who understand the atom best. Their mission is simple: ensure science serves peace, not extinction.
Together, we may mainly draw strength from the Hiroshima's example, turning remembrance into responsibility, and responsibility into action. So welcome to Hiroshima and welcome to Pugwash.
While scientists inside debate how to protect the world, the Peace Park outside offers a silent answer. When Sadako Sasaki died in 1955, her 1,300 cranes found new life here. Her classmates built this monument so her story wouldn't disappear. Now covered in millions of paper prayers, this plea for safety connects directly to the ancient rites performed nearby.
Join.
Lena joins Alexei at the Grand Inoko Matsuri, a ritual resurrected to ward off disease and disaster.
Do you know what's happening here? Maybe your friend knows what's going on.
これで何する？木で何する？これ全部何する？あれをついて離したりついて離したり。Jump, okay.
Oh, so the rock is gonna lift?
Yes,
They hoist a massive rock using 88 bamboo poles, a symbol that no burden is too heavy if the community lifts it together. Alexei is no longer a stranger here. He is helping to carry the weight.
I think it's done.
オレクシー。
はい、じゃあ前へどうぞ。はい、拍手でどうぞ。緊張してますね、顔が。
A co tam всередині? To też bambu?
Aha, bambusy ciągną to bambusy ciągną do góry. I kamień wchodzi do góry, on był do góry.
Laki.
Opowiedz,
jak
to się stało?
Nie straszne tobie było?
Straszne, bał się.
No ty молодець.
A go wylosowali, tak? Tylko 4 dzieci weszła na ten kamień i on wylosował. Wspaniały chłopiec.
Це дуже рідко в нас може бути, тому що я суботу-неділю, я завжди на роботі.
Bo ty pracujesz, tak?
Так. Коли працюєш, нічого в голову інше не лізе.
Naprawdę, nie myślisz o niczym.
Nie jest lekko.
Czy sobie wyobrażasz, żeby Ukraińcy i Rosjanie kiedykolwiek byli w stanie ze sobą rozmawiać?
Так, я дуже сподіваюся. І я їм навіть не те, що сподіваюся, я їм бажаю цього. Я бажаю їм вилікуватися. Я бажаю їхній нації вилікуватися, тому що вони хворіють і того не розуміють. Вони роблять горе. Не тільки нам, а й собі також роблять горе. І я бажаю їм того. Я не зможу їх пробачити, і на моєму віку того не станеться. Але я бажаю цього нашим дітям, їхнім дітям, онукам, щоб це все припинилося, щоб вони піклувалися виключно про свою державу. І все, не треба піклуватися про інші держави. Ми самі про себе попіклуємося. Я того їм бажаю. Я думаю, що так, наші діти, внуки то зможуть. Я ні.
While daily life is quiet in Japan, on the other side of the globe there is still home, a place that Olena left when she chose Alexei's safety.
Привіт!
Привет.
Ти що, вдома, да?
Я вдома. У мене все добре, вдома. Що ви там, розкажіть мені.
Нічого, сьогодні в нас сонечко показалося. О, то хорошо.
В Житомирі не були вдома?
Там ми їдемо, знаєш, їдемо у суботу, 1 число, мені ж треба ці показники передати теж, і тобі буду, то візьму. От, передайте, вже подивимося, як там, що там, я знаю. Ну нічого, ще не топять, я ще все не поробила, і там холод, а тут я собі пропалю, то мені буде і тепло,
Ні,
знаєш,
залишайтеся в селі, тому що і ці тривоги, ви там спати не будете. І я буду переживати, тому що ви там, не хочу. Ви ж бачите, що воно там робиться, скільки, не треба.
Що воно там робиться, а сьогодні, знаєш, 3 рази підряд ночі воздушна тривога. Через пару минут знову воздушна, а от мене не було. 3 рази підряд от мене не було. Але я собі повернулася, то знаю, дай собі далі сплю. Аж вже коли? Вже пізно вже от мене стала. Читай, пущі з 2:30, навірно, я не знаю, аж до рано, аж скільки я пішла, і ще тривога.
9 часов.
9 дня аж кончилась. О, та й це таке. О. Ну, хорошо, Альонка, потім созвонимося десь, я знаю, коли вже.
Ну, добре, все.
Так, головне, щоб було ще тепленько, поробили б ще трошки все, що вспіємо. Головне, цибулю мені посадити, а так як не вспіємо ті буряни, то і весною можна, знаєш, бо цибулю ж цю треба тільки на зиму садити.
Люди 4 кіла їдять за цілий рік, а ви садите 4 кіла. Ну що ж це таке? То це скільки ви хочете зібрати? Тонну цибулі?
Пока-пока. Будьте здоровенькі.
Пока-пока.
Все, пока.
For Olena's parents, surviving is about planting crops and getting through the winter. But here in Hiroshima, the warning is starker. It isn't about surviving a season. It is to warn us that the next bomb won't just destroy a city, it will destroy everything.
This dome is a symbol of the epicenter where the atomic bomb fell, which it killed instantly 150,000 people here. As it destroyed the whole city of Hiroshima. I mean, now you know there are 12,000 nuclear warheads in the world, mainly in the U.S., in Russia, and then other countries. In total 9, but in total there are about 12,000 nuclear warheads.
Which means a third world war means complete destruction.
It could be a complete destruction, yes, if there's no restraint. So this is why we're convinced that nuclear weapons really have to be abolished. changed. If you go back to the late 70s, the 80s, towards the end of the Cold War, there were millions of people out there on the streets in Boston, in New York, in other cities, and people were really aware of the dangers of nuclear weapons. Now, the risks are even higher, and I'm not the only one saying that. If you look at the doomsday clock of the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, this is 89 seconds to midnight. This is a symbolic clock, and it has never been so close to midnight. We really think that we scientists and policymakers in Pugwash have to step up to our responsibility and the legacy put on to us by Albert Einstein, by Joseph Rotblat, and Bertrand Russell.
Many people today say, and they come back to this ancient Roman proverb, if you want peace, prepare for war. What do you say?
In the old Roman times, they didn't have nuclear weapons. And technology wasn't as advanced as it is now. They didn't have AI. So the situation is completely different. After all, we live on one planet, and I would see this as one country that we have to really learn to live together. We're all human beings, and we're sharing the same planet, which we have to take care of, and we don't have to kill ourselves. So this means that we need dialogue more than ever then. So these are not empty words. Dialogue is very important. Dialogue is also, it also means courage, because you have to have courage to engage in dialogue with your enemies, with your opponents who think differently. Having nuclear weapons in, let's say, 25 states or more, and our future pending on these nuclear weapons, and not with a high probability, but with a very high risk that we destroy humanity.
The survivors are disappearing. Soon their voices will fade away. And the question remains, who will carry their warning when they are gone?
I feel like first, everybody will forget about nuclear weapon and Hiroshima. But still, it's a kind of legacy. We have to repeatedly recall those days. That is how dangerous the world is right now. This is the A-bomb dome, you know. Without the A-bomb dome, people will forget of what happened here. We need this.
As a memory.
Yes, as a memory.
Of what happened in Hiroshima.
And then we have to think about the total ban of nuclear weapon. One nuclear weapon, 1,000 nuclear weapons. It's the same. It's a symbol of evil. This A-bomb dome shows us it's a warning. I hope in the future, wise young people and they will be grown up and become good, wise leaders. So forget about the borderline of the countries, forget about the nations and the race, you know.
And think about the people.
Yes, about the people. So about the people. And then one thing we have to think is to survive. And please create your country without a nuclear weapon in your future. And please explain to your children and think about your future.
And also you can tell them that you met a person who saw firsthand what using nuclear weapons means. And she told you about.
Yeah, you need to run, you know. I give you touch, you know. Continue to run.
Oh gosh.
That's important. And my life is a limit, but I want to know that your beautiful, bright future.
Thank you. I really hope that's exactly how it's going to go.
This moment is so important. Yeah, that's it. I'm so happy meeting her.
A world without weapons. That is the dream Ogura-san hands to my daughter, while the Japanese are looking at their own nuclear neighbors, China, Russia, North Korea, and wondering if they are next.
The escalation is fearful, but this is chicken game. This is chicken game. End of this escalation ladder is the total exchange of nuclear weapons. That is the end of this planet.
the heart of Tokyo, the Meiji Shrine stands as a monument to the emperor who opened Japan to the modern world and who led the nation to a stunning victory over Russia in 1905.
We fought two wars against the Russians. 19th century and 20th century, we know who they are. They're good fighters. And they don't stop until the enemy show the force.
For a century, this man-made forest has been a sanctuary for the Japanese soul, a place where the noise of the city fades into the silence. Crowds gather here to celebrate the emperor's birthday, finding comfort in unity and tradition.
現代の日本人が互いに思いやりのある日本人らしさを取り戻すことが極めて重要なことではないかと思います。
But look closely, and you sense the anxiety.
近年の度重なる自然災害をはじめ、内憂外患とも言うべき現在の世界情勢の中で、
In a world where the old rules are crumbling, they are waking up to a violent reality. They are surrounded.
North Korean leader is now very confident. And he's increasing his own nuclear arsenal, and this is where we are.
In a world of strongmen, the currency is hard power. The rise of a superpower on Japanese borders is a challenge to the current status quo.
10 years ago, China was Japan's size. We didn't fear them. We have Americans here. Today, China is 4 times bigger than Japan. Their boats, military boats, gunships, they outnumber Japan and the US combined. China is living 19th century. Money means power, power means force. Yeah, they're pouring huge amount of money into their military, and their nuclear arsenal is expanding at great speed. Now they have 600 bombs, and Americans and Russians have 6,000, and China will reach that number soon.
For decades, the American nuclear umbrella protected this island. But as Washington wavers, a taboo is breaking. In the whisper networks of Tokyo, people are asking the forbidden question: does Japan need to revive its warrior spirit?
Japanese always considered themselves as good warriors. Isn't that true?
Archery, made a huge contribution to sort of the modernization and the stirrups, so that they can stand up while they are shooting the arrows. It helps with the accuracy. These are magnificent looking animals.
Beautiful.
So, I mean, if you go to Hiroshima, it's just devastating. You go to the museum and you confront the consequences of atomic war. Many Japanese remain wedded to that pacifist identity. Their critics call it sort of heiwa bokeh, meaning that they are deluding themselves. I think that the LDP government has made the point repeatedly that what happens in Ukraine is relevant to Asia, because if Putin succeeds, Xi from China might be emboldened to do the same thing with Taiwan. You have China's regional hegemonic ambitions, nuclear saber rattling by North Korea, and there's been increased military cooperation between the Russians and the North Koreans, and Russia and China. President Kim has often threatened to make Japan into a sea of flames. There is a deep-seated nuclear allergy among the Japanese people. I mean, it's very politically controversial, but the current prime minister has not ruled out the nuclear option.
But what do you mean by nuclear option? Japan doesn't have nuclear weapons.
It doesn't have nuclear weapons, but it has a large stockpile of plutonium that could be used to make atomic weapons. And it certainly has the technology to develop nuclear weapons within a short period of time. But they have 3 nuclear-armed neighbors, which are all antagonistic. So one could imagine a nuclear-armed Japan in the future as a deterrent. There are people who think maybe it's better to rely on the American nuclear umbrella. The problem of that argument is how reliable is the United States as an ally? They're all wondering when Trump met Xi, oh my God, will there be a grand bargain? They're going to shake hands above our head and figure
Just like we are thinking when he meets Putin in Anchorage and other places.
Nuclear weapons abolishment is our ideal, but for that purpose, Americans, Chinese, and Russians and others must agree upon nuclear disarmament agreements. As far as nukes are there in North Korea, China, Russia, we have to guarantee our deterrence. So we have to ask Americans to make their commitments, nuclear umbrella, robust and real. It's not real today.
What I heard in Asia echoed what I've been told in Europe and America. The nuclear order that protected us for decades is eroding.
We have seen the United States waver a bit on whether the nuclear umbrella covers all NATO states.
Article 5, as it already is, will be reinterpreted as a transaction. So it will be important for you to have shown that you are spending money on your own defense if you're to expect American support under Article 5.
Across the world, people wonder if history is coming back to claim our children. When I began this journey, I wanted to understand how we misread Vladimir Putin.
We were all mistaken.
How we let the bear wake up again.
Who would have guessed they were going to start a medieval war in the 21st century?
But the story isn't just about Russia or NATO or Ukraine. It's about us, the people on freedom's frontier, who remember fear and stand anyway.
My father was killed here.
My parents lived behind the Iron Curtain. I believed it would never return. Yet history's chill is back. Different faces, same lessons. Everywhere I went, Łódź, Kyiv, Washington, I met people who refused to surrender. They know freedom is never given. It is defended again and again. Not just with weapons, but with will. From the Pacific to the Vistula, we face choices. We can run, like Lena, to save what we love, or we can stand, like Daria, to defend what we love. The holiday from history has ended. The arms race of our age has begun. The clash of great powers has returned, and once more we stand on the line. But this time, we are not alone. We know the cost of looking away. The bear is awake, and so are we.